Hello, hope you are well, and thanks for joining us for our live today. I am Michael Sean Corby. I am the NAHA Committee Chair. Thank you to those who are just joining us. Look, I wanted to first say we took a pause from last week's live broadcast in solidarity with our brothers and sisters, friends and families, mothers and fathers in the Black community. Look, we've spent the last week listening and learning, and we know we can do better. We want to use our platform going forward to amplify more Black voices. We're bringing more voices to the table, so you can look forward to not only more voices, but more conversations and more honest discussions, because Black lives do matter. Black lives are important. Black lives are our friends and family, and Black lives are to be celebrated equally. We are now and will always be behind you. What we would like to do now is to transition to speaking about creativity and NAHA, because we know so many of you have joined this conversation today, even in these difficult times. We know a lot is going on in the world, literally, and we know you are just getting back to work and you are reconnecting with your guests, your clients, and your coworkers. And we understand that photo shoots and models are maybe not something you can focus on with this time. And at the same time, we know that you are filled with drive and passion to be creative. That's why you participate in NAHA, and that's why you've been a part of it so long. So now might be the time, NAHA opens today. It might be the time that you think about storyboarding. It might be the time that you think about building your teams. It might be, what type of shoot you're going to do or what sort of category. And don't forget those new categories like Educator of the Year. So, hey, for those of you who are joining us, giving you little waves there. So please go to everythingprobeauty.org/NAHA. So much information there. Look, we know you're just getting back to work, but we also know that it's time to start thinking about it. We've extended the entry dates, so make sure you check that out. Our guest today is no stranger to NAHA, self-proclaimed NAHA geek, launched as a fine artist at the age of 21, and launched his own clothing line shortly thereafter, and then transitioned into the hair industry and didn't just decide he wanted to do hair as a fluke, actually went to beauty school and got his license just like the rest of us. Hairdresser, photographer that has led to many nominations, and even got his own little gold star this year, getting a nomination for work as a hairdresser, photographer, soup to nuts. So without further ado, I am going to welcome today's guest. There we go. Keith Bryce. Hello.
Buddy.
Hey, you added a hat. I like it.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit.
Welcome to the show, and thank you for being a part of these creative conversations. We know times are difficult. There's a lot going on, but we're happy to have a moment to talk about NAHA. And did you know today is opening day? You were able to start submitting your work. Do you have like 100 things you're submitting already?
Right. Things are actually kind of just, since things are opening back up, I have a lot of things in the works and a lot of people that we're talking. But, I think we're just haven't started shooting things yet. We're just getting the creative brewing. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of ideas and a lot of creative concepts that I've been working on. But like you're saying, we're at that point that we're starting to really pull together the teams and figure out what we're going to do, because we've been locked away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get out some creativity, and kind of, there's so much pressure and so much stress going on in the world right now that I know a big part of my mission is just to help people focus on creativity and focus on things that inspire them and keep them positive.
I love that. And that's, we know, if anyone is doing shoots, it's you. And along those lines, folks, and you're getting a lot of hearts. Extraordinary what you're able to do. But take us back. Did I read something wrong? Did you start as a mortgage broker?
I made really good money. I enjoyed it, but I felt like something was missing. So as I was painting in my office and doing mortgages, originating loans, like things kept prompting me to kind of take my artwork a little more serious.
I love it.
Yeah, so I got quite the journey that led me to where I'm at now.
So on that journey, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because we all know you from season 5 of Project Runway. You know, I used to do Project Runway All-Stars, so I know some of these folks. I'm a super fan of Corto. I had no idea she was on season 5. Oh my God.
Good buddy of mine. She's adorable. I love her.
Like, how did you get on Project Runway and do so well?
I'm a pretty ambitious dude. So I'm a self-taught fashion designer. And it came from somebody like wanting to do a fashion show with me. And then we did this fashion show, and a friend came and saw the fashion show and was like, you should audition for Project Runway. And
yeah,
things always happened really organically. And I'm probably overly confident at times. So I was like, I can do this. Which is crazy how much I actually learned even after the show. You know what I mean? Like now I'm a completely different beast, but everything happens when it's supposed to. You know what I mean? I was supposed to do the show at that time.
Yeah, so you were just a baby. So you were in fashion and doing Project Runway. And can we talk? Like, everybody thinks all that happens organically. I don't think I'm still under contract for Runway. But I remember they had like these gossip boxes where each contestant was hooked up for sound. So if you even came close to being like, oh, that's not the best dress, or look at that hemline, they would then tell the other person, right? Like,
yeah. It was so much more about drama.
Yeah.
And about just authentic designing and to see what we could all do with the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that actually, those things aren't even the same. Like sometimes people would have less time than others to even do their designs.
Yeah.
So it kind of was a little disheartening to me because I came in at like this nerdy kid, like, I want to be the best designer. And then I soon found out it's like, who's going to make the best TV?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On top of awesome designing. Don't get me wrong. There's awesome designing. But we're also characters that play roles on a TV. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And trust me, I'll also get in trouble for this. I fixed more than one outfit in hair, because when designers had to step out of the room, hairdressers were stepping in.
Yeah, right? So, oh, you're nice. I could have used you a couple times.
I was like, I might be able to hold that with a bobby pin. Let me get on it. Because it's literally falling off your body.
Yeah. I've been there.
So after all this, you went to beauty school, like we said, and thank you for your commitment to the professional beauty industry. You know, you could have skipped that, right? You weren't.
Yeah.
You didn't have to become a professional hairdresser. Tell us why you did that.
I had already been shooting NAHA collections for almost 8 years before I went through beauty school, and I needed to learn the language more.
Yeah.
I needed a hairstylist to understand that I understood what they were going through.
Right.
So it wasn't about me just getting my license. I needed to enter NAHA. I needed to struggle. Or they were so creative, but at that moment, all the pressure was stifling. I needed those moments so when they're going through it, I can relate and I can connect in a whole different way that I thought I understood before.
Right.
Now doing it, I really understand. I really understand what it means to a hairdresser to get that platform. You know what I mean? Like, I just connect in a different way. And I felt like something, just being the photographer, as much as I've been experimenting with hair for over 10 years now, but I needed people to know that it wasn't just a hobby craft for me. It wasn't that I was doing because it was just fun. You know?
Yeah.
I truly love this industry. I connect with hairstylists because hairstylists are artists at heart. And I'm an artist. Hairstylists are just, you know, and a lot of times they're just credited for being the artists that they are.
Yeah.
So I felt like it's beyond just, I found a community.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to be more of the community. And when you're just a photographer, sometimes you're just on the outsides, you know, and I wanted to be in the conversation.
So you have so many loving comments about the show, thanking Her Majesty, thanking us for sort of giving her the scoop. We have the beautiful Life saying that the industry is better because you're in it. So Her Majesty, again, forgive me if I'm out of order. Can we start with Keith, the photographer, and tell me a little bit about that process. Like, when did you start taking pictures, or we can jump right into like what's so inspiring about a NAHA photo for you?
No, you're okay. So I actually started, I took a course in high school, like darkroom style, old school photography, but I never got into it then. Like, I liked it, but I wasn't, it didn't really grab inside. So I knew I needed to build a bigger portfolio. I needed to push it harder. And so I started working with some really talented local photographers that taught me a lot and inspired me. And eventually at some point I knew I needed to invest in my own camera because I wanted to be able to do more of it. I didn't want to be limited on what the photographers that were hiring me or wanted to do a project wanted to do. You know, it's all about, because it went beyond just creating a portfolio to where the portfolio got me inspired to create art.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, it just kind of grabbed me, I guess. I don't know. And then somebody actually asked me to do wardrobe for a NAHA collection, and they had a big photographer coming in to shoot it.
Yeah.
And so I had to research the competition and find out all about it. And I went over the last 10 years of like what was in, what wasn't, what had been done, what hadn't. And I really started getting excited. And some dreams, you know what I mean? So
I love that. So you're a photographer. You're not just a photographer. You are a very sought after photographer. Literally everyone who's already been on the Creative Conversation knows of you or has worked with you. So much love coming from so many people. He is still available if you want to do a shoot, I'm sure. But you know, there's a process. So let's get into that process. First of all, I just want to ask, is there anything you're working on now that you could share with us? Because not only are you a photographer, but you're now shooting your own stuff. Can we see? It looks like you're in a crafty room there. Is there anything?
Yeah, through this whole locked away quarantine type situation, it gave me a lot of weird energy, anxiety, and I tried to take all that anxiety and put it into creative hair projects. And so I've literally just been creating stuff with hair, and a fellow hair person of mine through doing these creative quarantines and challenged me to make things out of alternative stuff. So it was out of like kitchen scrubbies. So I took kitchen scrubbies and then turned it into...
Oh my God. I don't even know what I'm looking at. That's insane. Look at the creativity, the texture, and that's all just those copper scrubbies.
With hair. Yep.
And yes, folks, we would qualify that as hair-like materials if you're reading the rules, which I've heard nobody reads the rules like you. I love it.
Here's another one I've been working on.
Oh, so beautiful. Now, can anyone guess what's the technique there? What's the material? Show them again.
Right?
It's like you could just shoot that right now. Just put it.
Need to get creative with crayons. So
crayons.
I got creative with crayons.
I love it. Crayons. I might have to ask you a crayon question later. I usually do. So a lot of people are here because they're fans of your work. Tell me what it's like to, what's the process? First of all, reach out. Now is your time to ask questions. Put it in the comment box. Put it in the question box. Everybody is here now to give that to you. Tell me about shooting with other people. How does that go? So I come to you. What do I need to have done first? What can you help me with?
So NAHA, for me specifically, and in schooling, I actually was in marketing and advertising. So when it comes to all this stuff, it's about creating a brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's about doing something that inspires you, because you also don't want to present things on an international level that you don't want to represent. So normally the process, if somebody's hiring me and they want to work with me, is I try to inspire them. I try to see what inspires them. I try to see what they're drawn to right now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Myra, I believe was the name, asked what inspires you?
Oh, I am really, really inspired lately by, it's kind of a mix, because I'm inspired by nature and like insects and flowers, but lately unconsciously I've been really inspired by the times of like what's happening in the world. So it's kind of been a mix of my art and then like emotions kind of creating my artwork. It's kind of interesting, but I really draw color and shape and textures.
Yeah, it's always one of those things, like, where do you find inspiration? It's almost like it finds you, right?
Right. For me, it's learn how to channel your eyes and vision to be present, to notice it. Because honestly, the art might be in a mistake. You know what I mean? The art might be in the accident. And if you're not present enough in your everyday moments, then you might not notice that that was the most beautiful thing. It happened before you even got to what you intended. So the art can be anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I really just try to be present. You know, even somebody who's like, oh, I've got my roots outgrown and I think they look really amazing right now. Like, you know what I mean? Doesn't sometimes intentional.
So true. Yeah. So are you a photographer who gives directions? As you know, we've had Vivek on the show. We have had Damian Carney on the show. I feel like each has their own style of doing their own thing and then working with others. Do you give direction? Can they expect a lot of collaboration, if you will?
So this is my passion job. This is what I do because I love it. You know what I mean? If I just wanted to make money, I'd definitely be in the mortgage industry because that made really good money. But this is something I do because I love it. So when people hire me, I never look at it as like you're paying me to do a job. Instead, you're paying me to give me the time to do what it takes for us to create together. So the amount of direction I give is based on how much direction they want, how much collaboration they're looking for. You know what I mean? How much, because I've worked all different levels of, I can't take somebody like Christopher Benson and tell him you know what I mean? Like, he good idea what his vision is, what his brand is. So somebody like that, it's more about bring it to life. You know what I mean? And there might be another level of stylists that they might need to be pushed. They might need to be reminded, okay, this is the level looking at. So you might have to collaborate and a little bit harder to get them to that competitive place. You know what I mean? But even anybody at any level, I always ask them to leave room for perspective, so that even if Christopher Benson has just done the most amazing thing, please allow me to give you some perspective so that this different set of eyes might suddenly inspire you in a whole new way.
Yeah. And I love that. I think a lot of people, it's nerve-wracking, right? It's a big investment. You don't know, if you're going to get nominated. So I think it's important that you offer this mentorship. And again, ask your questions now. We have from the Ready Life, these times can provide inspiration, which we totally agree. Oops, and I'll just hit send. But wait, I have to send something. Oh, I've just messed that up. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with that button. Oops, and now okay, I'm back. Hitting the wrong buttons. Yeah, it's live, folks. I was trying to scroll up because it was such a beautiful comment, that finding inspiration in the midst of so much pain and chaos. Thank you for the refocus. So thank you, the Ready Life. That's beautiful. And again, Pro Beauty Association said G because it was the only thing I knew to get out of there. So is there any advice you can give someone? It's a lot for them to just step into, right? They're just getting into it. Is there any advice you can give someone wanting to do their own shoots, that maybe isn't already a photographer? Like, it's so inspiring, all the things you've already done in your life. Any advice you can give us in that regard?
Absolutely. And honestly, you don't have to be a photographer to work on amazing collections. And there's so many other artists out there that are hungry to create amazing stuff and want to be inspired. And our phones nowadays take such amazing pictures that you're able to capture a lot of the content you're creating until you're ready to make the investment of hiring a professional photographer that can help you push even further, especially if they're a hair photographer that's going to look at things that the hair industry might notice.
Yeah.
You know, but in reality, I would say just start doing it. Like, don't be afraid to do it. Like, get yourself a head form and start experimenting with hair. Message me. Like, I don't care if people message me and say, hey, what can I do to make this better? I'll respond. You know what I mean?
Well, they've got you live right here, right now. So what about shooting on a budget? Say you've got your photographer, but you got to get scrappy on everything else, right? Like, what's some advice you can give us for that?
Well, I come from that place that is like poor kid confidence. Like, you can do anything. Like, don't let somebody with a big brand and money make you feel like you can't step up, because really creative ideas will rise to the occasion. Like, don't always pull in your friend photograph to look like a model. You know what I mean? So you have to be realistic about where you have to have budgets and not. You know what I mean? But you can also, there's resources. Facebook has groups. Model Mayhem has groups. Like, if you're putting out quality work or even working with local photographers you've done a free collaborative few projects with, eventually they'll help pull some of their resources in for you. But you have big NAHA shoots, but they don't even have an idea. Like, work out some ideas. Creative on your head form. Get inspired. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel like you instantly have to take on, you know, like doing 3 NAHA collections. Try doing one amazing one. Start with an idea and build off it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and some of the struggles for, like, there's lots of ways, you know, and you can even get a wig that you have a few different looks on, or you have one girl and you've shot, oh, here, I made her look differently. You know what I mean? And some of the categories allow for that.
Do you know of any mentorship programs? And I'm not sure if that's to PBA in general. We have so many programs that really begin with Beacon and go all the way through, you know, NAHA Live, and so much education available. But I guess this is more to you, the man of the hour. Do you have any mentorship programs available?
I heard what you said. You're asking for mentorship programs.
Yes.
Right now, normally when people go through the process of hiring me to do a NAHA shoot, it is very much a mentorship program, because I go through the whole process of what it takes to develop a NAHA collection.
Right.
And I guide them through all the little steps. So whatever questions they have, I try to just be there and back them up. But other than that, this year, actually finally signing up to do education. I'm talking to PBA about doing a course at ICE this year, and just really trying to reach out and get more education so I can inspire more people just to be creative.
Well, so many people are very excited about that, and we're very sorry we lost you for a second.
Oh,
We didn't have any issues in our test. So what's your favorite category? Like,
ooh.
is there some category that you really feel this is the one and that you enjoy shooting the most, creating the
Uh,
most?
I would have to say avant-garde is one of like has a little special place in my heart. It's just so experimental and
Uh-huh.
so fun and so out there and but you know experimental hair in all the categories, and so that's really
Yeah.
inspiring to me because I just like really stylistic stuff. It doesn't always have to be like over the top, but I just like stylistic.
Yeah. So Velvetica is saying this is a beautiful life. Can you think of an artistic, stylistic mistake that turned into a big victory?
Uh, and a reason is because one of my techniques that I like to do when I'm shooting is after we've got the look that you're going for, I always try to have my teammate do a creative organic switch up, which
Yeah.
means they take whatever is happening there with their beautiful hairdo and they either pull it apart, they dishevel it, they do something. And
Yeah.
sometimes those, oh, that wasn't supposed to be that way, and you capture it and it's like, wow, look how special that image looks.
Right.
What I think it gets back to that being present in the moment again, just like, oh, so I find those mistakes, happy mistakes, I call them, happen all the time. It's kind of like just don't give up. Sometimes I've had those teammates that want to give up, and I'll tell them, if you don't give up on yourself, I'll never ideas or try to get creative or come up with suggestions or show them technique if I have to.
Yeah. In our original interview, you said how you get out of your selfish little, or how you got out of your selfish little artist world. Tell me
Right,
about that.
because I feel like as an artist we can be so self-consumed on creating art and what it takes to survive as an artist and trying to pay those bills and just our next art project, that it is a little self-consumed. And it wasn't until I had a moment with another artist that had been working for his collection for 2 years and had really been pushing himself really hard. And then when he came to shoot it, it didn't quite have the impact that he wanted. And he was like, but you're going to make it look good with your camera and lights. And I was like, no, 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 no. Really amazing avant-garde hair will look good in anybody's camera. It'll look cool with your phone. Don't get me wrong. As a photographer, we're supposed to take it further and make it look better with how we shoot it and like the emotion out of it, but it should already look really amazing. And so we had this whole emotional moment, and we tried to rework pieces, and it wasn't working. So then for the next 2 days, night and day, we rebuilt his. We hadn't even shot it. I hadn't even taken any pictures yet, but he just saw them on the head forms. And it was at the end
Yeah.
of the night, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and he just started crying. And he was like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, I'm so proud and honored to that this is something I'm a part of. And he was like, I couldn't have done this without you. I wouldn't, oh my gosh, your name on these. And I was like, no, 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 you have no idea. You showing me those tears and being so grateful is giving me such purpose that you're reminding me that me being my artist is bigger than just me. So, you know what I mean? Me being this NAHA guy is showing me it's not just about me creating beautiful pictures. It's about helping other people create beautiful pictures and seeing the pictures, and those is more than they did the day. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's such an incredible story. And I think, just about every hairdresser I know is such a super good human, that I love that you are bow to Her Majesty, Hair Majesty. How long does it take? This is a great question. How long does it take to create a NAHA entry from the idea to the actual creative? And she's thinking in days. Does
And in the concept, like when you are working with somebody with like Robert Grimes, who weaves the most intricate, beautiful weaving techniques, or for me, I'm working for months to build avant-garde things to narrow it down to an idea that I feel is strong enough to even compete with. So
yeah,
it really, and sometimes our ideas are really simple, and it's the simple idea that is special, you know?
yeah,
So it really just depends on what the person's trying to do, how, if they've done it before, you know what I mean? Because if you're well seasoned, me and Ammon Carver can bust out a 2-3 collection day easy, you know, but he has a well seasoned team. He's well himself, like, you know, so it really just depends on the person. Yeah. Usually try to tell people to give themselves a couple.
Call her Jess, but I might perhaps continue to call you Her Majesty. So you come from this fashion world. So you come from a fashion world. So I would imagine that stays uber priority to you. How important is wardrobe to a good shoot? And what are some hacks and some tips you can give us?
Well, wardrobe is huge. All the pieces of a NAHA shoot are important. You know, you know what I mean? Because you really want to cut any of the pieces. You just want to figure out creative ways of making them appear to be at the level of everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, so get creative. You take that one jacket and make it into 3. You know, like there's lots of things you can do to make collections seem impactful. Borrow clothes, you know, from really stylish, get cool fabric. I mean, there's so many different ways that I know times NAHA shoots are even full clothing. It's like cool neck pieces and a broad top bandeau, you know, like you just make it work. It doesn't have to be complicated to be impactful.
I can't tell you how many shoots I've done. I primarily do brand shoots where they don't even have pants on. You know, right? Shoes, any of it. I'm like, what did you bring all these skirts and shoes for? You're not even going to see it.
Yeah, always. I know. I'm always like, oh, sorry, stylist. Somebody didn't give you the memo.
It's like, unless it's a photo that's like shoes. I don't get it at all.
People put so much time into the overall, and then they're doing a little bitty bob. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, let's focus on the 3/4 most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have
because
corners.
Yeah.
That's what I would
time is everything on these shoots, right? Nice and tight, and time is everything. So if you're wasting time mucking with her nail polish on her toes and her, you know, gold body paint or whatever, where it's not needed, you are wasting time that they could be using with you, right? That they could. So how do you storyboard? Final question. You're so creative. A lot of people are wondering what's that first step. I believe it's always the idea. What's your favorite way to board that? Get it down.
So I would have to say, because some people are very kind of like, oh, I have a concept. I want to do hair from the... Figure out what's inspiring you. Then you can build the wardrobe and everything around it. If it's a themed time, you know what I mean? Like you got to have somewhere to foundational place that inspires you. You know what I mean? So whether that's some hair shapes that are inspiring you, into textures, you're into a certain technique that you want to present, like who is the girl you're trying to present? What party are you going to? You know what I mean? And then define that party. Like, who are some of the other guests that are going to be at that party with her, and do they make sense? They match. Because if they're not going to go to the same party, well, somebody's not going to be let into the club. And that's how I try to tell people, like, since I come from a fashion designer bound, if one of those looks like it wouldn't be on the same runway, then it's not going to work. And that's all about the hair and what you're going to do and how it's styled. And you can have 2 completely different textures, but yet the styling and the rhythm can still be there to make them cohesive. You know, because my collections, I try to create rhythm so that then we can all dance. So then when you look at it, it has a statement.
Yeah. So today is opening day, if you will, for NAHA entrance. As the self-proclaimed NAHA geek, give us a reason to enter NAHA. What has NAHA done for your life?
So right now, I mean, if people have been following me a little bit, I've kind of been going through some of my own transitions of like, what's going to happen? Where's the world at? And I would have to say right now, if we can get to that place of, if we can remind people to stay creative and focus on what's next and focus the world brighter place, maybe that's an alternative, because I don't know. I feel like NAHA Escape is my happy creative spot.
Yeah. So true. Yeah, unfortunately we're having some connection issues, so it was a bit blotchy. So take us out with your final statement to everybody who's watching. It can be about NAHA, it could be about anything. Jess is saying that makes sense, and she's going to think of a girl or a group, and I've never heard anyone put it that way. So thank you of that. So any parting words as I remind everybody to enter your work, probeauty.org/NAHA. Send us your ideas, send us, your information, message us here on Instagram, get registered, your work, and also see the resources. So anything you've mentioned to us today, Keith, we'll get that on the resources page. So this becomes a place where everybody can access it. Any parting words for us as we leave folks today?
Stay creative, stay positive, focus on those things that make you happy. Don't be afraid to have a voice, but don't get lost in how we can keep uniting. And it's about collaboration. Like our lives are all collaborative moments with everyone we talk with, and let's focus on more happy collaborations.
Yeah, and I think what a beautiful note to end on is let's collaborate. And I think I'll be in touch with you soon, because you seem like a photographer I'd like to collaborate with, because I don't shoot at all. So thank you so much to everyone for watching. Let's send a bunch of hearts to our incredible cast, Keith, Bryce. Keith, I know, just like I saw you this year, just like I saw you this year on the red carpet, I have a feeling I'm going to see you there again.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I sure hope so.